How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Steins Gate, My Darling's Embrace. We're at Moeka's apartment. I don't exactly know why we're at Moeka's apartment, but the last episode consisted of some failed plans to find ghosts or any other strange occurrences, because everything could just be easily debunked. So now we're here, probably going to fake something. I'm sure that's gonna go over so well. Okay, great. Moeka digs through the stuff on her table and excavates a sheet of paper out of it. It's an A4 size printout and seems to be something along the lines of a personal journal. Oh wait, what the fuck is that? The apartment I live in has abnormally low rent. The place gave me bad vibes from the outset, but hey, I wasn't gonna complain at a price like that. However, things were off from the very first night I spent there, whenever I try to go to sleep, I can feel someone's eyes on me. But this room is 2 stories up. So my sleepless nights continues. I finally asked my friend to come stay with me. He came at night, saw me scared out of my mind, and laughed at me. He then took photos of different parts of my room. Wouldn't it be funny if something showed up in them, he joked. But then, as he looked over the photos, his face stiffened and grew pale. That's right, he caught something terrible in one of the photos. This is that photo. It's just her. I'm pretty sure that's just Moeka. Okay, I get it now. This is the sort of story you see pop up in ghost shows on TV all the time. This is the part where they'd show the photo. I'm betting they're all forged, just like we're trying to do right now. At this rate, her article's not going to be about ghosts. It's gonna end up being a feature on women who can't clean. Is that real? I mean, I might be featured on something like that. I mean, I can clean, but I'm pretty lax about that sort of stuff at times. It's really not healthy. Moeka quickly realizes what I'm trying to avoid saying directly. Moeka starts to clean her room. But the more she cleans, the messier it gets. In some weird way, she's actually kind of incredible. As she tries to sort through her books, her attention is drawn to the documents poking out from in between the pages, so she starts trying to file those. But then she notices that there's dust on the shelves where she's filing the documents, so she takes out a handy mop and starts wiping them down. Upon realizing that the handy mop she's using is already filthy, she stops attempting to file her documents and instead opens a kitchen cabinet to find a replacement head. Many of the plates in the cabinet look ready to fall, so she hurriedly takes them out in order to reorganize the cabinet. Upon noticing that the plates are still somewhat dirty, she abandons swapping out the mop head and starts vigorously scrubbing the plates in the sink. Eventually, Moeka returns to her senses. I've actually experienced something like that before, like when you're trying to do something, but you kind of just stray off that path because something else needs attention. Unable to watch any further, I finally shout orders at her. I mean, it's for the sake of the lab, I guess. I don't think I brought this up, but I'm pretty sure this entire game is us just trying to fund the lab because we are in need of money. And just, you know, we focus on each character one by one, and we either romantically get with them or go to another world line or something along those lines that allows us to try something else to get money. It's something simple, but it's pretty entertaining. Moeka can't clean to save her life, but there's no way I can say that to her face. That'd just be mean.
この段ボールをちょっとキッチンへ移動するぞ。
I pick up a cardboard box that's taken up residence in a corner of the room. But...
悪い。
Wait, what spilled out of it? The box is unexpectedly heavy, throwing me off balance. It ends up tipping over and spilling its contents all over. It was full of paperback novels. Moeka hurriedly starts to pick them up. As I help her out, I notice that they're all the exact same book. My Rainbow Volume 1. Wait, what does it say? Girls throughout Japan cried their eyes out. The definitive edition of the cell phone novel. Oh yeah, they were talking about that not too long ago. And that's what the front cover says. Arc rewrite.
これって
Isn't this that popular cell phone novel Mayuri and the others mentioned before? Is this the physical edition? I take a look at the band around the book. Girls throughout Japan. Yeah, I already said that. I'm ahead of the game.
なんだ、シアツ氏もこの小説のファン。
I cut myself off. No, there's more to it than that. No matter how big of a fan someone is, they wouldn't buy this many copies of the exact same book. Moeka hurriedly packs the books back into the box and seals the top. She then shoots me an email. Well, no point in keeping it a secret now.
何?
What is she doing? The author of the novel is me, really? Unable to parse what she's getting at, I sit there in shock.
シアツ氏が書いた? ってことは作者なのか?
My eyes dart back and forth between Moeka and the box of books.
なんでお前が?
I thought she was just like collecting a bunch and then selling them for a higher price. I've had that whole thing stuck in my head because of the pre-order mishaps that have been going on around the time that I'm recording this, with the graphics cards, the PS5s, and the Xbox Series consoles. It's really just a mess.
というか、作者は高校生なんだろ?
これ内緒の話だけど。
I mean, she kind of told us what the secret was, according to Moeka. The user submission site her novel was uploaded to is run by the digital contents division of the company where she works, Arc Rewrite. Apparently Moeka also helps out on that end too. My Rainbow was originally a cell phone novel written by a high school girl, but about halfway through the story, the young lady had ran into a wall. Her talents could take her no further. However, her novel had attracted a huge number of readers, and after some struggles, Arc Rewrite decided to continue it with Moeka as its ghostwriter.
そんなことがあるんだな。驚いた。
That is interesting, actually. You would have never thought. Like, in regards to anything similar to that. I look at the box full of books and then back at Moeka. I think back to a few days earlier when she refused to read My Rainbow aloud. It all makes sense now. Of course she'd be too embarrassed to read her own work in front of others. Moeka nods her head in response to my conclusion. Yeah, it's like if people watch my videos in front of me. Of course I'm not gonna like that. It's embarrassing. Given the high marks it's getting from my lab mems, it sounds like a pretty interesting light novel. Or little novel, excuse me, not a light novel. I never thought Shining Finger had this kind of talent. Moeka's as expressionless as ever as I compliment her, but she's very, she has expression in her text, and that's been, something that you can notice even from the base game. This is really embarrassing, but seriously, please keep this a secret between us. She still manages to send me an email. We clean up the rest of her apartment, which means it's time to dim the lights and get ready to snap some photos. Moeka puts on her ghost makeup and dons the wig from earlier. And so...
What?
I instinctively shout out. Moeka climbed out of the window. This is the second floor. Not only that, but as far as I can see, there's no terrace or veranda out there. The only thing keeping her from becoming a tragic headline is the bit of rail attached to the window frame. In other words, Moeka had to latch her hands and feet onto the protrusions on the wall. She's clinging to them like some bizarre ghost spider. She proceeds to close the window, and then stares inside with a resentful look on her face. Oh god. This is no friendly neighborhood Spider Woman. Goddamn, a pretty good reference. Look, I'm legitimately terrified, okay? You're terrifying, Shining Finger.
早く取って落ちる
Moeka's agonized voice sounds like the groans of the dead wandering their way through purgatory. I guess it must be working if, you know, we're scared. I set up the tripod and attach the camera on top, and then activate the timer. Since I'm playing the role of the apartment's resident, I have to make sure I'm on the edge of the frame. The flash shines and the shutter snaps. With backups in mind, I take several more photos. She's really willing to go to great lengths here. That's kind of weird. The terrifying Spider Woman opens the window and slinks back inside the room. She slumps forward, her arms and legs likely tired, and starts crawling along the floor toward me. The tangled hair covering her face reaches down to the floor. From behind the strands of hair, bloodshot eyes glare at me. What is this, a horror film? I end up taking another photo. This is all going into a strange direction, huh?
ありがとういい写真撮れた
After removing the ghost makeup, Moeka looks at the camera's screen with a satisfied expression on her face.
いや、お前の熱演があったからな。
I think about the earlier spectacle and feel a cold chill run down my spine. Restless nights, here I come.
それじゃあ、俺のバイトもこれで終わりってことでいいか？
Can we leave?
なら、そろそろラボに帰る。
Or do we have to write it?
そう
I glance up at the clock. Considering how late it is, I really shouldn't be here any longer. People might get the wrong idea. I stand up and turn to the entrance. It's then that Moeka suddenly grabs the sleeve of my shirt.
お腹
Oh no.
お腹？
つかない
え？
What's she thinking? I take a moment to assess the current state of my stomach.
まあ、あちこち歩き回って小腹が空いていないこともないが。
何か作るけど
え？
Moeka's facing the floor, but I can see her eyes shyly looking up at me. Even looking directly into her eyes, I can't read Moeka's thoughts. I guess she wants to thank me for helping out. I accept her offer. I mean, she's going out of her way to be nice, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious as to what she's gonna make. The corners of Moeka's mouth race just slightly, as though she's happy at my response, and she cheerfully heads to the kitchen. I sit down in front of the round table and stretch out my legs. With the place looking presentable, I can finally relax a little bit. Hearing the sounds of cooking from the kitchen, and with nothing in particular to do, I aimlessly look around the room. Now that I finally have the chance to let it sink in, it dawns on me how unbelievably plain her place is. There's hardly any furniture at all, a round folding table for eating on, an old-looking chest, and a low table for doing work. Describing this place as lonely would be an understatement. It's just so cold. In all honesty, I'm not gonna lie, I kinda dig places like these. Just something simple, something plain. It doesn't have to be like too crazy, it doesn't have to have like an insane amount of furniture. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that meme where it's like, you know, dudes' apartments be looking like this and it's like a folding chair and then like the the TV, the game system of whatever sort. And that's pretty much it. That's all there needs to be. Maybe like throw a table in there somewhere, and I mean that's all you need, man. That's really all you gotta have. Despite how messy it all is, it just doesn't feel like someone actually lives here.
好き嫌いある？
いや、特に。
Sorry, I was distracted there for a second.
あり合わせでいい？
ああ、そんなに気を使わなくていいぞ。
うん。
What's she planning on making? Up until now, I'd never even considered the idea of Moeka cooking food. This feels new. And it's pretty common in video games for there to be a scene where the heroine cooks the protagonist a meal. They tend to be really emotional moments. I can't even begin to count the number of times I've seen Daru collapse in front of his PC from the moe overload. But then there are also cases where the food is so bad that the protagonist nearly dies. The heroine then replies with something along the lines of, "No way, why? I worked so hard on it." Again, I can't count the number of times I've seen Daru collapsed in front of his PC after a scene like this. I wonder which pattern Moeka is going to fall into. As I try to predict the future, Moeka exits the kitchen. She's holding a tray in her hands. On top of the tray, I spot two delicious smelling yakisoba UMA cups.
想像の斜め上を行くやつだな、貴様は。
嫌いだった？
いや、どちらかといえば好物だが。
じゃあ、はい。
うん。
I grab one of the cups from Moeka and break my chopsticks in two.
いただきます。
いただきます。
I guess it's something. It's nothing magnificent, but for a brief period of time, the only sounds coming from the dumpy apartment are our slurping noises. Wait a second, what the hell am I doing here at a time like this? As I glance at Moeka eating her yakisoba, I suddenly snap to my senses. And then, clank clank, I hear the sounds of someone climbing up the stairs outside. They're trying to hide the sound of their footsteps given what time it is, but they're failing spectacularly. The moment she hears someone approaching, Moeka stands up, unusually flustered.
どうした？
隠れて。
Uh-oh.
何？
押し入れ。早く。
え？
Still at a complete loss, I'm forcibly stuffed into the bottom section of her closet. Moeka grabs the yakisoba from my hands.
音立てないで。
I mean, couldn't we have kept it? Moeka throws the rest of my belongings into the closet with me before shutting the door. It looks like I'll be sharing closet space with the futon Moeka always uses when she goes to bed. I'm surrounded by a sweet fragrance, Moeka's no doubt, and my head starts to spin. I need to stay focused. Now's not the time to morph into some Daru-like pervert. Finally realizing the situation I'm in, I can feel fear setting in. Don't worry, I live alone my ass. I knew it. Kiryu Papa, name subject to change, or Kiryu Boyfriend, name subject to change, is on their way. Whoever it is must be huge if we can hear their footsteps all the way from here. I'm screwed. If they find out that I'm here, even the immense magic power that burns in my right hand might not be enough to escape this nightmare scenario.
これは俺のイメージじゃない。押し入れでの災難はダルの役だ。
Sweat pours down my brow, unrelated to the temperature or humidity, as I hold my breath.
Oi, Moeka.
Oh, it is him.
起きてるか?
From the other side of the door, I can... Oh, hit my desk, my bad. I can hear a deep voice that screams, "Man who will murderize me if he finds me." Their voice is that horrifying. In the darkness, I grab what I can only assume is a handkerchief of some kind, and I wipe my brow with it. I really hope that's what it is. It doesn't take long before I'm immediately drenched in sweat again, so I grab another handkerchief. Why would there be handkerchiefs in the fucking closet, dude? That's not a handkerchief. The cold sweat just keeps pouring out of me.
今開ける。
I hear the apartment door creak open as Moeka responds to the mystery man. The murderizer exchanges some words with Moeka. I then hear him stomp his way into the room. I swallow the air and attempt to peek into the room through a crack in the door. I hold one of the pieces of cloth to my mouth in an effort to keep myself from yelling.
おう、今日は随分と片付いてるじゃねえか。
Mr. Braun? You have to be kidding me. How did this worst case scenario somehow even get worse? I sank further into the closet despite knowing that it'd provide me little protection from the beast on the other side. The more I move, the more of a mess Moeka's closet becomes. I now find myself covered in small pieces of cloth, many of which I had just used to wipe away my sweat. But why does she have so many handkerchiefs? I look closer and... I immediately put my hand over my mouth to keep myself from screaming. With my eyes having finally adjusted to the darkness, I get a good look at what I thought were just handkerchiefs. It turns out I was very, very wrong. Damn it, Shining Finger. What are you doing just throwing your bras and panties in here? You're a woman, right? Put the stuff away. I hurriedly toss away the panties in my hand, the very same ones I had been using to cover my mouth. If nothing else, at least they're all clean. This sucks. Damn it, this isn't the sort of situation a character like me should be in. This is Daru's territory, and it really is.
Moeka, これ持ってきてやったからよ。
Mr. Braun sits down with a thud and places a plastic bag on the round table. The bag contains everything from meat to vegetables, a real treasure trove of foods.
こんな時間にすまねえな。明日でもよかったんだが、なんだか急におめえの顔が見たくなったな。
ありがとう。
どうだ、ちゃんとしたものを食ってるか？
うん。
レトルトやカップ麺だけじゃダメだぜ。
うん。
Liar, we were just eating yakisoba a minute ago. Of course I'm in no position to chime in.
仕事は忙しいのか？
うん。
そうか。でも無理はするなよ。仕事ってのは生きるためにするもんだ。仕事で寿命を縮めちまったら、それこそ本末転倒だ。
This is very weird. This isn't the terrifying monster of a man that I'm familiar with. His eyes are the same as when he's talking to Nai. Hell, even his tone is much gentler. Mr. Braun did say he was Moeka's legal guardian. I guess he must drop by with food every so often. Mr. Braun's much more of a loving father than his face would suggest.
仕事といや、おめえ、あいつとなんかやってるそうじゃねえか。
あいつ？
岡部だよ。
Oh, that's us. Me? I nearly stuffed one of Moeka's undergarments into my mouth to keep myself from yelling, but managed to snap to my senses before making a fatal mistake. That was a close one.
岡部くん？
おう。さっきな、駅前でうちのバイトにあったんだよ。そしたら、おめえと岡部が、一緒にいたって言うからよ。
I see. Mr. Braun must have heard about the whole Radicon thing from Suzuha. And so that's why he's here so late.
別に変なことしてない。
いや、それは分かってる。俺はおめえを信用してるし。岡部もまあ適当でいい加減でだらしなくてバカな男だが、それなりにいいやつだとは思ってるんだ。
I don't know if we should take any positives or negatives from that.
あのバカやその仲間のおかげで、おめえもだいぶ明るくなったしな。
私が？
あ、
そうかな。
ああ、あいつらといるといい顔してるぜ。
It's really hard to tell, you know? Moeka looks down at the floor, preventing me from seeing her face.
そんな風に照れるとこなんて 初めて見た。
岡部君やみんなとても優しい。一緒にいて楽しい。
そうかそうか。なら多少の迷惑は我慢してあいつらに部屋を貸しといてやるかな。
Well, that's good to know. Mr. Braun lets out a hearty laugh as he stands up.
ま、おめえが幸せなら何も言うことはねえさ。頑張れ。邪魔したな。そろそろ帰るぜ。
お茶入れる。
また今度ごちそうになるよ。苗が一人で寝てんだ。心配で仕方ねえ。
そう。
それじゃあな。
Mr. Braun heads to the door, vanishing from my line of sight. Moeka disappears after him.
ああ、そうだ。最後にもう一ついいか？モエカ、おめえよ。惚れた男ができたときは、相手にちゃんと伝えなきゃダメだぜ。
That came out of nowhere.
男ってのは鈍いからな。言わなきゃわかんねえ。
And actually, yeah, that's true. Us men are really fucking dumb. Honestly, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm pretty stupid. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a couple or so cases where I was put in a position where I really should have understood somebody's feelings, but didn't because I'm really dumb and slow. Mr. Braun truly is onto something here.
特にあの野郎。色恋沙汰に関しちゃ、全くとろそうだしな。
何のこと？
好きなんだろう、あのバカが。
God damn it. I press my face into the pillow right behind me. Nothing else in here as usual to muffle out my scream. What did Mr. Braun just say? She likes that idiot? Who's that idiot? What idiots do I know? Right, there's Daru. I can't believe Moeka has the hots for Daru. Nah, hold on. Something about that seems off. Moeka and Daru are too much of a mismatch. Then that means Mayuri? Well, I guess she is, or she can be a bit of a dummy in some ways. No, that's not that's not it either. Mayuri's a girl. I don't think Moeka swings that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. There really is nothing wrong with that. My mind is racing in circles.
違う。
そうなのか？でも、あいつが話をしてる時のおめえは、随分と嬉しそうだぜ。
だから、それは。
ほんと照れてるおめえが、こんなに可愛いとは思わなかったよ。ま、俺の勘違いってことにしといてやるか。じゃ、また明日な。
Mr. Braun laughs and closes the door behind him. I hear his heavy footsteps growing distant, and the apartment is suddenly filled with silence. It's almost like the quiet after a storm. I can hear Moeka approaching the closet.
岡部君、もう大丈夫？
She says nervously as the sliding door opens up. I take an exaggerated breath of air and tumble out of the closet. If it's not clear, I'm trying to make it seem like I didn't hear the last part of their conversation.
いや、全くもって不測の事態だったな。ミスター・ブラウンの襲来と。俺の存在が察知されなかったのは、奴にとっても我々にとっても良好だったかもしれん。もしも俺とミスター・ブラウンが相まみえることになっていたら、この呪われた右手がついに発動していただろう。本当に一触即発だった。
Yeah, get with Okabe, you get to deal with this. Ugh. I wipe my sweaty face using my sleeve. I try to make this gesture as exaggerated as possible.
なんだ
ごめんなさい。変なところに押し込んで。
My entire body is covered with Moeka's undergarments. Her underwear is all over me, and even the sleeve I used to wipe my sweat as a bra stuck to it. It looks huge too. An F cup, maybe? I shake my entire body to try and get them off. Why would you say that? As you know, the text slowly rolls in because this game stutters.
平気。洗濯してあるから。
ああ、当たり前だ。第4畳半惑星か、ここは。
それじゃあ俺もそろそろ退散するぞ。ミスター・ブラウンが戻ってくるようなことがあったら面倒だからな。
I start feeling embarrassed for many reasons, so I hurriedly gather my belongings and head to the door. But there's no sign of my shoes. Moeka must have hidden them before Mr. Braun's raid.
靴ここ。
Moeka opens the refrigerator. There's almost nothing inside. Well, except for my shoes, which are now ice cold, by the way.
お殿様が熱くないよう冷やしておきました。なんちゃって。
Uh-huh.
やかましいわ、猿。
In the midst of this sweltering night, I put my shoes on and march outside, my feet icy cold.
明日はというかもう今日か。練習に来られるのか。
Wait, we're still doing band practice?
仕
Hell
事の
yeah.
前にちょっと寄れると思う。
そうか。じゃあその時にな。
I wave and say goodbye to Moeka and then start to make my way to the lab. An email? It's from Moeka. So, about what happened back there, please don't worry about it, okay? Just forget it ever happened. When I turn around, Moeka's still standing at the bottom of her apartment stairs looking at me. What exactly is she referring to? So much went down back there. Is she talking about her underwear, or... Are we actually gonna respond? I guess we are. In the end, still confused, I reply to her. Back there? What are you talking about? So much happened that I'm not even sure what you're referring to. Why are we doing this? If you're not sure what I mean, then don't worry about it. Works for me. When I tilt my head to the side, Moeka makes a cute bye-bye gesture to me. Having never seen Moeka behave like this before, I feel my heart skip a beat. Well, I don't. I'm weirded out, if anything. I really am. Dawn ratio. Okay, we received an achievement. I don't know what that's supposed to imply, but it's now the 20th. Holy shit. Alright, well, we're gonna save the game and wrap it up there, I suppose. Go to page 2 here. I'm saving in too many slots, I swear. I don't even think it's completely necessary to do that. Well, guys, thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and guess we'll see what happens next time. I don't really know how much more there is to Moeka's route. I don't even know how the hell we get out of this route and go into a different route. I have not noticed any, like, diverging areas. But then again, I could just be really slow and blind. So I guess we'll figure that out when that time comes, and we'll just continue on down Moeka's route. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.